Hey guys, how are you doing? Today I bring you a very special video. As many of you know, I have been playing all sorts of songs for more than 4 years, and I have tried some of the most exciting and interesting songs ever created. Now, the purpose for me on this video is to show you the best drum intros that I've ever had to play. And also there is another purpose, but I need you to help me in order to get there. By the end of the video, after watching all the performances, I would like you to comment your top 5, okay? One thing that I want you to understand is that on this video we are not playing the hardest ones, okay? This is going to be about the best ones, the most creative, the ones that really changed the game back in the day when all of these songs were released. And that's the important part, because we are here in order to pay respect to those drummers and in order to recollect all of their art. And I think that most of them are going to be considered pretty simple, pretty basic, but that's okay. Some of the best drum intros ever recorded were actually pretty basic, pretty simple, but they had that taste, they had that musicality, and they added something to the music. With all of that being said, come on, let's start this video with some power. Let's go with it. You know that, right? That's Dave Grohl playing for Queens of Stone Age. That's a total banger. Interesting, because the drumming itself, it's not that complicated, you know, it has that very powerful essence. It's tribal, it's primitive, a lot of tom work. Of course, we have the hi-hat going all the way. But the most interesting part in here is that if you listen to the rest of the music, who in the audience would have come with this idea? Nobody, right? Because you got that little riff going on the guitar, but there is no other clue happening for you to do whatever. And that's why I wanted to start with this one, because this is exactly what this video is about. And with that being said, let's go with the next. Toxicity, real composer, John Dolmayan. John Dolmayan has been described by Modern Drummers magazine like the one with the schizophrenic beats. They are right, sounds so primitive, okay? It sounds like tribal, it has power. Again, a lot of toms. You listen to the guitar, da-da, da-da-da-da-da, and there's not a single clue for you to come up with something like this. But he heard it and he knew there was a lot of space in the middle and he wanted to fill it. How did he do that? It was very hard to pick just one intro because, again, they have a lot of very interesting intros that we should study. Let's go with the next one. Very interesting, and it reminds me of the next one that we are going to play. Probably this one influenced the next, okay? We are playing a all-time signature, and it's very interesting because very few songs have all-time signatures and turned out to be legendary songs that everybody knew. For example, Money by Pink Floyd, maybe 7 Days by Sting. But it is very hard to make an all-time signature sound so good and so effortless that people don't even realize that you are playing an all-time signature. And that's why that intro deserves to be here. And now let's go with the next one. That's basically the same thing that happened here, but with a little twist and without the all-time signature. Let's go with it. You know that one, right? And you can see how it's very, very similar. Not only it is a very interesting and powerful intro, but also whenever they are playing the floor tom, for me it sounds like they are also playing the snare drum on top. It is not possible to play that with just two arms, and maybe you can help me out in the comments, because for me this floor tom sounds with a snare drum on top, and it would go like this. Oh, this is a very strong one. This is a very, very strong one. Because here you got no clues. Like nothing is happening. This is your intro. Play whatever you want. No voice, no bass whatsoever. Nothing. And he came up with this, which is tricky because when you listen to it for the first time, maybe you think the bass drum is going on constantly, you know, but it's not, okay? He's mixing a couple patterns. He's adding some triplets. You got snare, 4 bass drums. Snare, 4 bass drums, snare, you also got some triplets, and on top of that, he's not playing the same cymbal, he's moving all over the kit, playing every cymbal, and of course, ending with that beautiful, beautiful feel. And that first snare also indicates the one on the next groove. It was not recorded by using a metronome, so whenever the groove kicks in, the tempo radically goes down. If you listen to the original, you will understand how extremely complicated and how driven by the feelings that recording was. Let's go with the next one. This one is tricky, and it's tricky for the same reason that maybe Blue Monday was tricky. This was probably crafted by a DJ. Whoever composed it really hit the right spot. You got 3 strokes on the bass drum that are played very fast, and you got a couple of accents with the hi-hat that feel weird, the ghost notes feel weird. This sounds like DJ work, but it can be played on the drums. And it's also a very, very famous and powerful intro that has inspired a lot of people, and that's why it had to be here. Whoever did this set a precedent. DJs can also create amazing drum intros. And talking about DJs, let's go with the next one. You'll love this one. What can I say about that? Now, this is where things get spicy again. The first beat, nothing to do with Joey. Joey was not playing that live, we know that. That was Craig's work, okay? That was just a very specific drum and bass pattern. I don't know how he created, I don't know if he sampled it, but that drum and bass is amazing. That intro is going to shake everybody in the room. But on top of that, even though Craig did an amazing work, then we go with Joey, who was also notorious because he could just create the best drum intros ever, and he came up with those accents and those amazing feels. And if you listen to the record, no processing whatsoever, it was just raw, not even a metronome, raw drumming, and the whole idea behind it is amazing. Listen to it. That intro is amazing, with the perfect use of toms, and of course, in the end, in order to go to the groove that's also top-notch groove, we have that amazing and fast feel that we don't even know where it came from, okay? And that was just Joey. Joey's again a drummer like Travis Barker. They are nothing alike, but they were able to turn themselves into massive, inspiring people that were able to make thousands of persons from all around the globe to pick some sticks and try to get the best out of this beautiful instrument. So from here, Joey, we miss you, but we still love you and respect you, and we are continuing with your legacy. And that being said, let's go with the next one. Now you tell me if there's anybody in the audience that does not know this song. And I specifically chose it because again, we are picking songs from every single kind of music, okay? Because you never know who is influencing the drummers that you love. That pattern right there, very complicated. When we hear it, we realize that there is no human being playing that, it's a machine. But it is a pattern that somebody had to come up with, and we got groups of 4 on the cowbell. I cannot play groups of 4 because again I would need 3 hands in order to do it, but the pattern goes like this. And when you're able to play that inside the groove with all the accents of the song, the result is an amazing drum intro that anyone on planet Earth is going to recognize instantly. That's it, perfect intro, and it needed to be right here. Let's move forward. John Bonham is one of the drummers that, well, if you try to stop and think about just one intro, that's impossible, okay? You got Black Dog, you got Rock and Roll, you got Good Times, Bad Times, you got a lot of them, and all of them are just as good. I just picked this one because I was thinking, this is like a proper intro, it's just himself. On Rock and Roll, of course, you got that very, very interesting beat, it is just an amazing intro as well. Just as amazing, it's just accents, that weird pattern on the cowbell. Who would have thought like, okay, let's do this? Probably nobody, and that's why a lot of people hated Bonham back in the day. And suddenly he made it, but his ideas, it was like so disruptive, so uncommon and orthodox, and that's why he really deserves to be here, because he is one of the best drummers of history. Without any single doubt, he needed to be on this list. Let's go with the next one. Money for Nothing, again, amazing, for a couple of reasons. The first one, no clue whatsoever. You know, it's all ambience, you got all of the effects on the guitar, you know, the voice just singing, everything is so smooth, and suddenly just feels and feels and feels and feels, and everything is orchestrated in a very, very weird way. Whenever you try to play it on top of the original song, you are going to realize that you cannot. It was just about feelings. You don't even sense a tempo. It is very, very hard to play it properly. It's not just like some random that he came up with. No, it has been calculated. Every single detail is there for a reason, and that's why I think that needs to be right here. It is an amazing intro. It requires a lot of concentration and stamina. It's all about the singles, all of them orchestrated beautifully, and they finish with that beautiful triplet. And then Mark starts playing the main riff, and it all ends with that tasty feel on the toms. Overall, just a total masterclass on how to use the melody that your drums have to offer in order to create the perfect intro. Let's go with the next one. Hot for Teacher, Van Halen, nothing to add. My personal opinion, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say it. It is the number one, technically, okay? And he was playing all of this live and everything, but technically, you got that weird set of hertas happening. It's just an engine, man. It is just an engine, and legend has it. It was like a Lamborghini or a motorcycle or whatever. We have nothing confirmed. Such a complex fucking thing. Nothing is accidental, okay? Everything has been meticulously calculated, and I think maybe back in the day it didn't get the credit that it deserves. Maybe it did, okay? It's Van Halen, they were famous, but this is not their biggest hit, and I don't understand why. Because this, in my opinion, is and will always be the best drum intro ever. Straight to the point, catchy, so complex, and yet so musical that for me it deserves to be the number one of the list. I'm not the only one that praises this intro, but also, well, everyone. Dave Grohl, Stuart Copeland, all of them love Ringo because of the simplicity, but also because of the musicality that they had and how good they were at grabbing a simple intro and turning it into something legendary. So kudos to Ringo Starr, one of the best to ever do it. And that being said, let's go with the next one. Take on Me. That's a very fucking massive song, but one thing that very few people realize, it is a very complex groove. First, you got the bass drum. You got an ostinato happening between an auxiliary hat and a tom. Very nice and also a very interesting idea. Now, let's go with the next one. We all know that one, right? Is it the hardest thing you can play? No, but you gotta remember, there is a whole generation of drummers that were born because of this music, okay? We got some drummers like Travis Barker that maybe are not the most sophisticated, but they really knew how to do one thing: lit the fire inside a whole generation of people that didn't know that they wanted to play drums. And that's, for example, my case. And that's why I think this intro is so legendary. I gotta say, in this case, it was a little bit complicated because Travis is very good at creating interesting drum intros. Awesome intro. Travis is the man, and for that he deserves at least one spot on this list. And now that we are playing pop punk, let's go with Tre Cool from Green Day. Basket Case is another perfect example of what that generation of drummers did to the whole drumming community, okay? Again, we have a very simple vocabulary, there are no rudiments whatsoever, we are just playing with singles. However, we got a nice display of all the accents with the cymbals, we got the beginning, counting the time with the hi-hat, just like, for example, Dave Grohl did on Song for the Dead, and on top of that, we got a very interesting feel that everyone is going to recognize all over the world. Let's go with the next one. Gotta love this one, I don't care what you like. Everyone you see playing this song, they don't play it right, because the hi-hat has groups of 3, of course, but it also has groups of 2, and that's what makes this groove a masterpiece, very tricky. The hi-hat goes like this. And on top of that, you need to play the bass drum as well. Amazing drum intro that announces a song that, in my opinion, everyone should know and that was not understood back in the day, but as time passed by, it aged like wine. And now let's go with the next one. You know that one already. Again, it's Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl should own the whole list. That's one of the best drummers of all time. And again, this is something that probably everyone can play, but not everyone can come up with this idea. Now, you can listen to an interview where he's talking with Pharrell Williams about how he came up with this idea, and it turns out he was just influenced by a lot of disco drummers, okay? So he just thought, okay, let's try to grab that and apply it to our own movement. Let's keep going. That's Bongo Song or Play It Alive. You got the drum cover right there. That is an amazing. I call it the impossible one because it took so much time. Man, that intro is just nuts. Maybe this should be on the best percussion intros, okay? Because again, we're playing bongos and they play a lot of percussion on that track. But if you listen to the whole mix, you understand that you can actually translate all of the music that they're playing into the drum kit. However, after all the things that I've played, there's one last thing that I need to play before I go. I wanted to save it for the last spot because for me it is the hardest of them all, and it's not only about how hard it is to play it, but also the good memories that it brings me, okay? Because it's a song that whenever I listened to, I knew that I was going to be sweating 5 minutes after, okay? But on top of that, and what's most important, not only to me, but also to each and every one of you, I guarantee you that it brings good memories. It goes like this. So many good memories, bad memories, dirty memories, however you wanna call it. Okay guys, so as I said on the intro, the most important part of the video comes right now. I want you to pick your own list. I would like you to pick just 3 of them, okay? I need to know what the drumming community consider to be the best 3 drum intros of the whole time. Personally, and this is just a matter of taste, number 1 goes for Hot for Teacher. The second one would go for Painkiller. And the third one, and again, just my personal opinion, would be Money for Nothing, because it's just a masterclass on how to use the toms with a lot of taste in order to start a song. That's my order, but please comment the ones that you like and let me know if you would like to see more videos like this one, because obviously I left a lot of songs, grooves and feels out there, but I would love to keep doing videos like this talking about the best grooves in metal, the best Slipknot songs, the best metal intros ever. So if you made it this far, please subscribe, let me know your thoughts on the comments, that's the most important thing, and of course, as always, thank you all so much for being here, and I really hope to see you all guys very soon on the next videos. Stay safe and take care. Cheers!